Right, OK, Gareth Southgate has revealed that Ben White asked not to be selected for England duty. How much of a shame is this?
It is a shame, and I think maybe one day he reflects on that at the end of his career and thinks he's made a mistake, because even if I got the call now to play for England, not that they want me, but I would still make myself available. I don't think you really ever retire or step down from wanting to play international football. So I'm quite surprised that he's gone down this route. We've not really heard from the player. You know, he came back from Qatar. Was he sent home? Did he ask to leave? I'm not really sure. It's now looking like he's not going to have any part to play in the future for England. And that's a real shame, because we needed him. He's playing in outstanding form. I'm particularly surprised because Gareth Southgate is usually sort of as an arbitrator, as somebody that is very diplomatic. He has a lot of empathy with the players. That they couldn't find a way.
Well, he's kept the door open. He said he wants him to be a part of it. He said he hasn't. He sort of made a joke saying, I haven't got much credibility with the England fan, but it would be completely evaporated if I didn't try and pick Ben White. So he was clearly wanting Ben White to join up with the squad.
That's good. So it's disappointing that the player has taken this route and they couldn't find a way forward.
Do we need to hear from the player? I mean, we understand that it was Edu who actually passed it on to the FA that Ben White didn't want to be called up for selection. Where do you stand on that? You're someone who, I'd imagine, used to fight your own battles. Should he have not made that call to the FA and to Gareth Southgate himself? And do we not need to hear from him in the media now to get his rationale?
I mean, I could never imagine myself making that phone call, but I think maybe the direct phone call to Gareth Southgate would have been the order of the way things were done.
Well, it's interesting that, obviously you have to be a little bit careful because we don't know the circumstances.
Exactly.
We know that he's already left the World Cup. That was 18 months ago. There could be loads of reasons for it, and lots of different players have turned down international call-ups before. He's definitely not the first, and he won't be the last. Some people don't like being in a squad and not playing. Some people find that very difficult. Mental health problems come into it as well. Physical problems as well. Some players don't want to be travelling around the world, even though that's not going to be the case very much this time around. But they want to be travelling around the world. They want to prolong their club career because that's where they play more of their football. They don't necessarily do that with England. But Harry Redknapp was on the breakfast show this morning, and I think everyone's been a little bit careful about their opinions on this because we haven't got that much knowledge on it. But Harry was absolutely furious when he spoke to the breakfast show.
Door should be slammed right in his mush. I'm sorry, you've had your opportunity. You don't want to play for England. Go and tell the Bobby Moores of this world who got 100 odd caps, the Shiltons, the Beckhams, the Rooneys, them people. Go and tell the Billy Bonds of this world didn't get a cap and should have done, and all them great players. They don't want to play for their country. I think it's disgusting.
I'm with you, Harry.
I can't have him. If he don't want to play, it's fine. Okay, you don't want to play, don't play anymore. Thank you very much.
Well, Harry's quite forthright there. And then Harry, obviously a proud Englishman, and he would have loved to have been the England manager, and he was very close to being the England manager at one stage. Can you understand where Harry's coming from?
Yeah, of course I can. I mean, with Jeff Hurst and Bobby Moore and Martin Peters, those great players that he came out of that football club, and they they were incredible, weren't they? What they did for their country, that was the dream for everybody to follow in that route. And so it is quite staggering that the player doesn't appear to want to be involved.
And Gareth said yesterday it's not a falling out. He said that he won't even have any discussion about the rumours that have done the rounds about Steve Holland and Ben White.
That doesn't help, though,
out.
does it? Because he left the World Cup. Gareth Southgate hasn't ever come out and said why he left the World Cup. Ben White's never come out and confirmed why he left the World Cup.
So that's Ben White's responsibility to come out and say, isn't it?
If those rumours aren't true, then somebody needs to tell the real story.
If it were true and you're disrespecting, if it were me in charge and you disrespect...
Gareth said it isn't true.
Well, that's fair enough. But if it were, that you disrespect one of my members of staff, you're disrespecting me as well. So then I understand that. So you align, don't you, with your staff, and you can't accept that. But it's very difficult to understand. Without hearing, we'll probably hear it, won't we, in years to come. The player comes out and says what's happening.
Maybe it's just
not cut out.
Is that
maybe
wise?
But look, I think we have to respect.
Because what it does is it creates a vacuum.
I wouldn't want to take someone who doesn't really want to be there.
And in that vacuum becomes speculation. And if you don't address what the issue is, then what happens is everybody ends up talking about it like we're talking about it, and those rumours do start to come out. So isn't it better that he stands up and says, actually, I don't want to go because of this or that?
Yeah, and I'm in time, I think we'll hear from the player, but if he doesn't want to be there, then you don't want that. You don't want that negative energy within the group, if that's the case. I don't want to speak out of turn because, as you say, with mental health issues, or we're not really sure what it was.
Would you have ever turned down a cap?
No.
And if you were speaking
to
Ben
the field
White...
when I shouldn't have done, by the way. I was a bit of a walking disaster from that point of view. There were two tournaments I Twice I left the field to play for England and ended up with surgery. And in one of the games, both of the games, I had problems going into the game. So I was stupid when it came to those things. So don't ask me.
Because
you're
of your
asking the wrong
patriotism?
person. No, because I wanted to play. I wasn't going to turn down. I sat on the bench so long watching from the sidelines that I wanted to get in the stadium.
But you still went every time, even though you were on the bench for as much as you were.
Yeah, I mean, I played 9 games on the bounce for Graham Taylor, and he was saying, "Look, I need you to play." I said, "I've got a problem with my knee. I'm not sure it's right." But after that, I needed surgery. You know, so like, I'm not saying I need a badge for that. I'm just saying that was what I wanted.
But that's what it meant to you.
Yeah, but I wanted to. That's what I want. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Ben White, by the way. I don't want to be upsetting what's. You know, Arsenal's a good story right now. I was worried that we're trying to bash people, but we have to respect. If he doesn't want to be there, you have to respect it. I wouldn't want somebody in a squad that doesn't want to be there, that can't deal with being away for 5 or 6 weeks in a tournament and not in that professionalism that you need.
It's easier for you to respect it, though, as someone with Arsenal at heart. Does he make himself a target, Ben White, now with rival fans? We know how tribal football can be.
The average fan, the guy in the walks the street, wants to play, supposedly Sunday League football, would give his left arm to play for England, will look at that and say, what on earth's going on?
What would you say to Ben White if he was in the studio now?
Well, you're a long time finished. And I think it's one of those where there's nothing prouder for you to play for your country. It's an absolute honour.
And to maybe win a major tournament as well. This is a great chance for any of those England players.
A major trophy here. This has not been done. It's only since '66. What was the last group of players that ever won anything? We could be closer to that this year than ever before. And he's not going.
03717 223344. What do you make of the idea that Ben White has turned down the chance to play for England? Should we just respect his decision? It's up to him whether he wants to go or not. Or is it a disgrace, as Harry Redknapp said today, and he should never play for England ever again? There's other people that haven't got in this squad, by the way, that maybe should have done. What about Tino Livramento? Is he unlucky to miss out? I mean, the feeling in the North East is that he was going to get in. There isn't any right backs or left backs in the England squad at this moment in time, and he can play both of those. Is he a little bit unfortunate?
Potentially.
By the way, I couldn't find him in the under-21
He wasn't
squad
even
either,
in the
by the way.
Newcastle team 3 weeks ago. And I think he's a great talent.
I'm a big fan of Livramento.
I think he can play left back, he can play right back. I think I might have been the first person to suggest he should be in the England squad. But Gomez is in front of me.
You're the first person ever to tell for an England
on this
squad.
show, I said it weeks ago. Yeah. Listen back, get the recordings, go through it, yeah?
I think I touted him as a future England player when he was at Southampton, by the way, so I probably got there before you.
Your other club down there. Can't work
but
out
listen,
I
would have picked him. And obviously there's been a lot of debate about Kobe Mainoo as well.
It's a bit early.
Yeah, but why is it too early? I go back to Euro 96, Rio Ferdinand was in that squad. He was never going to play, but his tournament experience.
I think it's an outside chance.
But Livramento, I think, is definitely further down the line than Mainoo. Mainoo's only 18 years of age. He's just actually got into
mentioned Mainoo?
Me. Crook just mentioned him.
Yeah, but no. I mean, look, he's still...
Well, he's in the 21 squad. So is Chukwuemeka. So is Lewis. So is Kwanzaa, who's coming on this programme a little bit later on. Harvey Elliott, Mengi, Morgan Rogers, who was
a good lot of players,
involved last night. So that's the sort of core group of the Premier League players that are in the England under-21 squad. I've just been sent in. I was actually looking to see whether or not Livramento was in there, and he isn't, which surprises me a little bit. So maybe we do a little bit of investigation of that. Maybe it might be because if Chilwell is not available, he might well be getting called up. You never know.
And then Martin will be more raging about Livramento being called up than about a player turning his back on his country.
I said it weeks back, but I think it's quite a call and I think it's a great problem for Gareth that these youngsters are coming through, and they're coming through the system as well.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.